Hi friends, and welcome back to Gardening Suburbia. My name's Amanda, and today we are going to be overwintering my pepper plant. So it is so close to getting down below 30 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius, and these peppers are not going to survive that frost. There are still a ton of peppers on this plant that are not completely ripened, but there are a few that are nice red, orange. So I'm gonna go ahead and harvest all of these peppers, and then we're gonna go ahead and start pruning our pepper plant to bring inside over winter so that we can go ahead and replant this guy next season. This is a Tabasco pepper plant, and they're notorious for being very slow ripeners, which I can attest to. I've been watching this plant closely for the past few weeks, hoping that all of my peppers will turn red, because I really want to make a Tabasco sauce, hot sauce. So we're gonna go ahead and start picking all these peppers off. So I did get quite a few of these Tabasco peppers off of this one single plant. As you can see, not all of them are ripe, but it's better than I got last year, which was none. I do have two other Tabasco pepper plants that are in my garden. I'm gonna go ahead and harvest off of those guys. Those guys I'm not gonna be taking I'm not gonna be taking the pepper plants inside, just because I'm going to go ahead and pick the largest and healthiest plant that I have in my garden, which is this guy over here. And the other two are just gonna die off with the frost that we have coming, I think, Monday night. Today is Saturday morning, so it's coming. So I'm gonna go harvest those peppers real fast. Alright, so we did get a few more peppers. This is going to be a good start for an experiment of making that Tabasco hot sauce. It's not going to have as rich of a flavor as if I had made Tabasco pepper hot sauce with peppers of this color, just because a lot of them are still yellow, green. Maybe I'll look into seeing if there's a way to get these to ripen a bit more before I do the experiment. I don't know. I'll do more research. But we'll go ahead and get started on this pepper plant here. He's gonna get cut back a whole bunch, so prepare yourselves for that. I'm gonna go grab my shears and a shovel. Since my pepper plant is a little different than typically just planting the pepper in the ground, this guy, I actually pinched him off before I planted him, so he would have two really strong offshoots. So I'm gonna treat these as two individual plants. I'm gonna start by just trimming off some of the excess foliage so you guys can go ahead and actually see what's going on under here. So when you are overwintering peppers, you really don't want them to have any leaves on them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pinch these guys off. Take off any of the leaves on the bottom. So I don't want any leaves. So since I went ahead and pinched these guys off in the beginning of the season, I'm just gonna go ahead and treat these as two individual plants, but I'm gonna pot them together. So I'm gonna leave this long guy. He goes up into a Y formation along with this one. And then as you can see, this guy has his main Y here. So this joint is its first node. I'm gonna go ahead and chop these two limbs off just above this node. And then the same goes for this guy. I'm gonna go ahead and chop where these leaves are coming off right here. You want a really nice clean cut, so make sure that you get it as best as you can. Okay, and then I'm gonna chop right above this node. chop off any of these leaves. So that is our first part of that plant. I'm going to go ahead and do the same on this guy. This guy has his Y formation pretty low. So I'm going to chop off these guys, and this is going to be that first top node. Remove the leaves. And then chop this guy right here. So this is going to be that second node. Go ahead and chop right there, and then right here, and remove the leaf. Alright, so for these guys, you can see where that first bump is, where it splits. It's going to be right here. I'm going to take off the leaves, and then we're going to cut these branches right there. Alright, and then we're going to do the same on this guy. This guy has his first right here. Cut the branches, and then on this side right there. Alright, so our pepper plant has been pruned to a really sad state. And we are just going to go ahead and get ready to dig up around his base. So we've got him out of the ground with a portion of his roots. It looks like I didn't disturb too many. Some of them might have been broken off. But we'll go ahead and get him rinsed off. We're going to get all of the soil off of these roots just because we're going to go ahead and plant him in a really high quality soil. That way, while he's inside, we're not bringing in any pests or soil mites or anything that he just doesn't need to have inside. I'm going to go ahead and see if I have a good fertilizer inside that is low in nitrogen, high in phosphate, and potassium. So I'm going to go ahead and take him over to our hose and get him rinsed off of all of this soil. As you can see, I have a lot of clay in my soil, so some good clay bits in here. So I was able to break off some really big chunks of those soil, but not all of them. I'm just going to go ahead and rinse this guy down real well. Alright, so as you guys can see, these roots are nice and clean. What I found out is actually this is not one of the pepper plants that I had pinched at the beginning of the season, but it is two separate pepper plants that I had together to hold hands while they grew. So we're going to go ahead and put this in about a 1 gallon to 2 gallon pot with some fresh container soil. He'll be ready to be stored away for winter. Alright, so this is the pot I'm going to be using. It's about a 2.5 3 gallon pot. I cleaned it out, and we're just going to go ahead and put some really good soil in this. So I'm going to go ahead and try this brand out. It's Miracle Grow Performance Organics all-purpose container mix. So I'm going to go ahead and just fill my pot up at the bottom about 2 to 3 inches. Smush that around, make a space for this guy. Make sure his roots are all down. Alright, so this is about how we want our plant pot to be filled. Make sure all of the roots are covered. And then we're just gonna go ahead and stick a tag on this guy and then throw him inside. I'll go ahead and label it once I get inside. I don't have a marker out here with me. All right, guys. So for now, this guy is just gonna live on my table. I put a pie pan under him just because I do not have a drainage solution currently. You want to keep your pepper plants in a nice warm spot, about 60 to 70 degrees, and they need some kind of sunlight. Now, you're not really technically looking for them to go and grow, which is why we're not adding any fertilizers that have high nitrogen content. The nitrogen is what's going to produce more leafy green stems and whatnot. I do not have a fertilizer that is low in nitrogen and high in that phosphorus and potassium. So I'm not going to add fertilizer. I'm not going to water this because the soil is very moist. From what I've read, you want to go ahead and water this after it becomes more bone dry. You're going to water this less than when you are watering it out in your garden. So about once every 2 weeks would be a good time. And I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, that this guy will be able to be planted out after our last frost next season when the temperatures are in the mid 50s to 60s at night. And hopefully we can get a way better harvest on those beautiful Tabasco peppers than we did this season. But I hope this helps you guys in some kind of capacity, and that your pepper plants thrive through this winter period that we're coming upon. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks for joining me. If you guys want to go ahead and check out any of my other videos, I'll go ahead and link some up here. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.